Howdy everybody, welcome back to Wayne's World Studios, woohoo, in downtown Leesburg. We're going to discuss how to figure out where all the notes are on your guitar. Pianists have it so easy, they got 3 black keys and 2 black keys, and then all of the notes are basically around the groupings of 3 or 2. On the guitar, it's hidden in here, around all these dots. So let's learn our dots today. I'm going to take my pointer finger in both hands, and basically I'm going to play fret 1, move up 2 frets, 3, up to fret 5, up to fret 7, and then hopefully I'll hit fret 9. Okay. 9 is kind of easy. Here's the thing to practice. Can you slam your hand against your guitar? Now this only works if you have a nylon classical guitar. If you slam your hand here and then you gently put your first finger down, you're going to land right at fret 9. Always. And your pinky will land at the double dot, 12th fret. Okay? Again, I've marked my guitar so I have a dot at 3, 5, 7, and 9 so you can see, and a double dot. This guitar didn't come lined or dotted in the front, but I did it for teaching purposes. Some electric guitars actually have a fret at 1. And if you have a banjo or mandolin, you're going to have a fret at, or a dot marker rather, at 10 as opposed to 9. Okay? So don't know what that's all about, but it's just, again, it's just a position marker to actually help assign a place on the fingerboard so you can figure out where you're at. At home, can you mess around and just basically play the dots without looking down? These are called whole steps. You're moving 2 frets at a time. Every time you move 1 fret, we call that a half step. Some people will call it a semitone. I'm sure there's other names about it. I have read them. I don't care to discuss them here. This is a whole step. Some people call it a full tone or a tone. I'm going to call it a whole step. This is a whole step up, whole step up, whole step up, and a whole step up. And this is a whole step down. Okay? I'm ascending the neck when I go this way. We are descending the neck when we go this way. If you get bored on your high E string, try it on another string. Can you play your whole steps in an order to get you up to the top? And if we're on that last dot, there it is. So the fleshy part of my hand rests right there, and boom, 9th fret. Okay? This will come back down the road to help you out to figure out what pattern you're in when we actually assign note names to it. Okay, so speaking of note names, does everybody know their musical alphabet? There are 7 letters in the musical alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then it starts all over again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. On your own time, practice that. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Because your scales are going to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay? There used to be an H a long time ago. No kidding. One of my guitar friends came to me this 2 months ago and broke out a piece of music and said, hey, what's this H chord in here? Okay? Back in the 1700s, they had an H. They got rid of it because it was too confusing. It's still confusing today. But anyhow, go talk to some music history person. They'll tell you all about it. Does not exist anymore. Okay. You have to remember 2 pairs of letters, E and F and B and C, because they are the only notes that are side by side. Okay? If you have a keyboard instrument, they're side by side on the keyboard instrument. Wherever the black keys have a hole between them, those are your E's and F's and B's and C's. On the guitar, it's kind of easy because we have an E string right beside a B string, and it just so happens that the E string has an F on it and the B string has a C on it. Okay, so if you get lost, you can remember down here, hopefully. E, F, B, C, which also means this E has an F right beside it. Okay? If you watched our scale video earlier, we actually had a B and a C and an E and an F and a B and a C, although we did not use letter names with that. So they are everywhere across the board. This is important because now if we go up the string and we do our alphabet on the E string, every E is beside an F, and an F is not beside a G. There's a skip of a whole step. A G always skips to an A on every instrument in the world. An A skips to a B, and lo and behold, B's and C's are side by side. C's always skip to D's, and D's always skip to E's, and if we did this right, we are at the double dot. Oh, we are. The name of your string is duplicated. The first time it is duplicated on that string is at the 12th fret exactly. This E note is vibrating half the speed of this higher E note, okay? Or this higher E note is vibrating twice as fast as the lower E note. Physics, okay? So, to do that again, an E, half step to an F, to a G, to an A, to a B, half step to a C. So now we're on a non-dot C, and then up to a D, and then the double dot E. Okay? You have to know your alphabet backwards in music. It's crazy. Okay? So, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Practice that. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. You have to know it to go anywhere on any instrument, so you might as well learn it here today. Here is our high E again on our E string. E down to D, whole step, to a C, whole step, half step to a B, whole step to an A, to a G, to an F, whole step, and then half step E. Okay, let's do some proving here. E, F, G. If this is a G, it sounds suspiciously like our G string. Not exactly in tune, but close enough. Okay? This higher one is vibrating twice as fast. Here is an A, 5th fret, sounds like our A string. These two A's are 2 octaves apart, so this string is now vibrating 4 times faster than the low A, or the open A string. This B is vibrating twice as fast as the B string. C, D, and this D is vibrating 4 times faster than the D string. Okay? Kind of an interesting, fun thing. You could play around with the A and hear those neat half steps that happen right there. Okay? You can do that with any of the notes. You're basically playing a drone, and all old cultures used to use this. Appalachian cultures used to use this. Not much the half step thing, but in other cultures, in Asia and in Middle Eastern cultures, they kind of like the half step. It's kind of a cool thing, I think. Okay? So, mess around with your guitar. Learn more of the notes on the fretboard. On your A string, A, whole step to a B, half step C, D, E is a whole step, and if it is an E, sounds like our E string, F, half step, G, sounds like our G string, and then back to our A, and it sounds like our open A. Okay? So play around with your note names. I would suggest getting a fretboard or drawing one out. So draw 6 strings, draw a 0 fret, a 1st fret, a 3rd fret, put some dots there so you can understand where you're at 3rd fret, 5th, 7th, and 9th, double dot at 12, and start writing out the letters on a fretboard over and over until you can actually see the pattern. You're going to see the B's and the C's line up everywhere. You're also going to see a cool thing if you write all of the notes, no sharps, no flats, just the alphabet letters. You're going to see lots of A's, D's, and G's side by side, and lots of E's, A's, and D's, because the whole fretboard is basically going in fourths. And since your strings are tuned in fourths, you're going to see that same pattern that you had at 12th fret and at 0 fret occur all the way across the fretboard, so you can learn it faster. Why is all of this stuff important? Because if you can find a C, you can find a C chord everywhere. Okay, C here, C chord. There's a C in this C chord. There's a C in this C chord. Okay, we just did C major chords. If you can find a C, you can play all the C minor chords, C diminished chords, C augmented chords. A C happens to be in an A chord. A C happens to be in an F chord. A C happens to be in basically every chord. Okay. A C can be the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, the 9th, and so on and so forth. So knowing where your one note is can actually help you spell all the other chords. Knowing where all your notes are makes you a genius. Enjoy being a genius.